buddy, happy Halloween time. Let's create this ghost in Blender's light, floating in the air, a spooky delight. Follow right along and you'll see your cute ghost ready for Halloween spree.
Hey, hope you enjoyed the song. Let's dive in. As you can see, I'm using Blender 4.2.3, but you can follow along with older versions as well. I've turned on the screencast keys so you can see my mouse and keyboard actions at the bottom of the screen. First, let's clean up the scene. Delete these, and move the default cube up a little by pressing G and Z. You can also scale it by pressing S. Next, let's add a subdivision modifier by pressing Ctrl 2. This gives us more geometry to work with. In the Modifiers tab, apply the subdivision by selecting the Apply option. Now, hit 3 on the numpad to go to the side view. Then press Alt-Z to enable X-ray mode, and select these vertices. Press G and Z to move them along the Z-axis. Hit Ctrl R to add a loop cut and increase the loops by scrolling your mouse wheel up. We need to turn on proportional editing by clicking on this icon or pressing O on the keyboard. With proportional editing enabled, editing a point will affect the area around it. Select these vertices and scale them down. Now hit R and X to rotate them, then G and Y to move them here. Rotate them again to have a shape like this. Let's add loop cuts here with Ctrl R. No need to worry about proportions, because we'll remesh this anyway. Maybe move this part a little more and scale it as well. Let's create hands for our ghost, but it's easier if we add a mirror modifier first. Hit 1 on the numpad, press Alt-Z, select these vertices and delete them with X. Now search for a mirror modifier and add it. Let's get back to edit mode and select this face. Extrude it with E to about here, and extrude it again. Now extrude this bottom face down, hit S, Z, and 0 to make them flat. We can move these edges to create more accurate shapes, but it doesn't really matter because we can adjust it after remeshing. We can also add basic shapes for 2 fingers by adding loop cuts here and extruding these faces out. Okay, now that we have the basic shape ready, we can head over to the Sculpting tab and start sculpting our little ghost. Under the Remesh option in the top right corner, change the voxel size to determine the amount of geometry we'll work with. Let's start with 0.05 and hit Remesh. You can increase the radius of the brush by pressing F or changing it up here. Also, you can smooth things out by holding Shift. But first, enable the Symmetry option up here to mirror everything on the X-axis. Now, start smoothing everything by holding Shift and tapping on the model. You can see the name of the brushes. Select the grab brush or hit G to select it. With this brush, grab and move every part of the model that feels off and gently adjust the shape of your ghost. With the snake hook brush, we can make a tail for our ghost. First, let's remesh again with a 0.03 voxel size to have more geometry to work with. Start with a strength of 1 to create the general shapes, then reduce it to make more detailed adjustments. I'm just using the grab, snake hook, and smoothing brushes. Whenever you need more geometry, you can remesh again or decrease the voxel size a bit before remeshing. Ghosts don't have any specific shape, so you can be really creative and make them in any shape you like. Now, let's determine where the eyes will be. Enable Stabilize Stroke here. It will help you draw straighter lines. With the draw brush, hold Ctrl and draw a line about here. You might need to try a few times. Then you can curve a mouth for him as well. Let's add the eyes. Go back to the Layout tab and add a cube with Shift A. Then move it up. In Edit mode, select everything with A and scale it down with S. Then move it into the right position. Add a subdivision modifier, bring this face up, and in the front view, Control-click to fill the eye. Add more loop cuts and adjust the vertices with X-ray mode on. In the side view, select the top vertices and with proportional editing on, bring them inwards a bit. Do this for the bottom vertices as well. Let's add a mirror modifier and move them along the Y-axis a bit. We can make the mouth with the same technique. Now let's add materials to our ghost. In the Shading tab, create a new material and change the color to white. Rename it and under Emission, increase the strength value. I like to set it to around 0.1. For the eyes, create a new material, make it black, and bring down the roughness value. For the mouth, we can use the eye material, duplicate it, then rename it and set the roughness to around 0.5. And there you have it. Our cute ghost is ready to spook everyone.
Look at your cute ghost, it's quite a sight, shimmering softly in the Halloween night. Share it with friends, let them all see how you conquered Blender oh so easily.